It means let's stop jingling keys in front of our face about immigration like it makes a fucking difference, because it doesn't.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into it.
I guess where I left off is I was saying the only way forward is that people that know what is going on have to decisively confront Israel first. And thank God that Tucker is doing that, and Megyn Kelly and Piers Morgan and others. I wish Candace Owens would focus more on that as opposed to, like the other stuff. The lizard people, that whole thing, the time travel, astral projecting, and so on. But that is the only way forward. If you want to get to America first, you have to recognize this is not an issue that you can sidestep. This is the issue. This is the impediment to America first. You are either on one side or the other. You are either America first or you are Israel first. There is no other position where you say, I just don't want to send foreign aid to any country. That is no longer acceptable. It never was. That is not adequate. It is no longer acceptable to say, I don't understand why anybody's obsessed with Israel. Because here is why. You want to know why they are obsessed with Israel? Because they are Jewish. And that is the only country they care about. They are loyal to world Jewry. They're loyal to the state of Israel. And as long as these people have any influence, they are going to use our country for their own ends. That is what is going on in American politics. Radical left-wing Jews want to turn America into a diverse brown shithole because that is what promotes their agenda. A rising tide of tolerance and equality lifts all of the boats for every ethnic and racial minority, even the smallest one, which is the Jews. And the conservative, right-wing, Zionist Jews, for them, it is Jewish nationalism. I'm a nationalist. I'm an American nationalist. The right-wing Jews are Jewish nationalists. They are promoting a strong Jewish identity, a strong Jewish state, a muscular Jewish state. And as long as these people are around, they're going to put their interests ahead of ours. And as long as they are doing that and succeeding, we have to counter them. That is a hostile occupation. If you're America first, your sole and overriding objective is liberation. We want to free America from the hostile occupation. We want to liberate America from these people. That doesn't make us Israel obsessed. It makes us America obsessed. If they are the occupiers, if they are the occupation regime, then our first priority is to liberate ourselves. That doesn't make us two sides of the same coin. Well, there's the people occupying our country, stealing our sovereignty, usurping our independence. And then there's those people that are obsessed with undoing that. Then there are those spiritual leftist nut jobs that are obsessed with throwing all of that off. I'm over here in the middle where I shrug my shoulders. Ben Shapiro runs America. Well, maybe we shouldn't send him foreign aid. Shouldn't send them foreign aid. We need sovereignty. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a line in the sand moment. If you didn't get it before, I don't understand how you didn't. But now there's no excuse. If you're one of those few people that's still out there trusting the plan, five-dimensional chess, it's about China. Trump always campaigned on bombing Iran. This is your opportunity to get off. This is your opportunity to get off at this stop and join America first. If you want to salvage what we have, if you want to salvage our country, if you want to salvage an American nationalist movement from the wreckage of MAGA, now is the time to say unequivocally, you're either America first or Israel first. We knew this when the Tucker cost happened. We know it now. So that's that. Matt Walsh says, I've been against the war since the beginning. No, you haven't. The war has been going on for years. And your job was to obfuscate it for your Jewish boss. Whether you knew it, didn't know it, intentional, unintentional, that was the effect. And that is what matters. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So if in the end your effect was to get everybody to look the other way, we just have to hold our nose and vote for Trump because immigration's the most important thing. To those people, I say, fuck you. You brought us here. Because that was literally the message. Don't pay attention to anything else. Don't pay attention to Jared Kushner behind the curtain. Immigration, racial pride, immigration, that's it. They are literally dangling that in front of your face on a fishing rod. Immigration, we just got to keep voting Republican because of immigration. We just got to keep voting Republican because of immigration. And when has a Republican ever done anything about immigration? When? Did Reagan fix it? No. Did Bush? No. Trump 1? No. Trump 2? No. So let's just stop. Let's just get over that. And I'm going to say one other thing. This is a bit controversial. Bear with me. This country is 57% non-Hispanic white, okay? And the next generation, ever since 2012, the newborns have been 50% white. What exactly do you think Trump is going to do to undo any of that? Our country is fucked because of immigration. But you know what that is? It's the past tense. It was fucked, and now it is. It happened in the past, and that's the way it is. And I don't like it, and I know you don't like it. And if we could wave a magic wand and go back to the way things used to be, we would probably all do that. But we can't. And it's not going to happen, at least not anytime soon. It's not going to happen in the next 4 years. So when all these people told us we have to vote for Trump because of immigration, what exactly did you think was going to happen? Did you really think that in the next 4 years, America was meaningfully going to become less diverse? Serious question. Did you think that after 4 years, after just 4 years, America would be visibly, noticeably, meaningfully less diverse? And if so, where was that happening and how was that going to happen? Did you think that Los Angeles was no longer going to be 20% white? Did you think Chicago was no longer going to be 30% white? That New York was going to no longer be 20% white? Where was this going to happen and how was it going to happen? It was never going to happen. At best, you would see a partial reduction in the rate of immigration, and that was all you were ever going to get. And that is all that we have. Trump has reduced legal immigration by a whopping 10%, but they're not deporting 10 million people. You'll be lucky if they remove 1 million. And they've shut down illegal immigration. Well, you know what? That's a little bit too late. That's about 20 years too late on shutting down the border. We wanted the border shut down in 2016. And in the meantime, there's been about 15 million more illegals that have come here. So if you're not deporting anybody and you're not restricting legal immigration severely, then who gives a shit if they close the border, honestly? And people say, well, so what? So we should vote for the Democrats to make it worse? It means let's stop jingling keys in front of our face about immigration like it makes a fucking difference, because it doesn't.
Right. So I feel very strongly about this topic. Now, a little bit about me, and I don't want to take too much time, but I spent about 4 years at the border doing border security work. Now, I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail. If you guys want, I can totally make another video talking about my experience at the border. I got photos, videos, stories for days, but I've seen it all, right? I was on the front end doing brush operations where we chased migrants through people's properties, and we went onto ranch land and interdicted migrants at night who were smuggling drugs across. I've done back end work where we worked with ArcGIS and our mapping software, and I had to process SIRs and CCIRs with the battle desk and all that stuff. I've kind of done a little bit of everything. But when it comes to immigration, the one thing that I've kind of seen and solidified as a belief of mine is that there's nothing worse than unchecked immigration. Whether or not you want to scale back legal immigration, that's a conversation we can have. But I think there should be no question, no conversation that unchecked illegal immigration is disastrous. And so I do think that it's a sad day, or it's a sad case that the administration decided to walk back their policy choices on that and decided to rein things in a little bit when they made all these claims that they were going to come through and clean everything out, right? If you're not here legally, you got to go. And it's sad to see that that didn't happen.
And people need to hear that. You're not going to like to hear that, but you need to hear that. And take it from somebody that marched at Charlottesville. Take it from somebody that was part of the OG white nationalist movement. That's just the way it is. Seriously. People say immigration, as if it will change a thing. 35 years of unrelenting, always increasing mass migration, and they think 4 years, a 10% reduction in legal immigration is gonna change anything, that it's even gonna make a difference, that it would even be noticeable. Don't kid yourself. They say, well, any little bit counts. Well, maybe in a vacuum, but not if the price we have to pay is a war in Iran, an AI regulation moratorium, the Epstein files being covered up, and destroying the Trump anti-immigration movement. You know, that's not worth the price of admission. People say any little bit counts. You know what? It really doesn't. It really does not, actually. Oh, you get nothing for almost. I hear that from the other side. Everybody because it always goes together. It's always this package deal. They say these guys are obsessed with Israel and the third world. Immigration's the thing we got to buckle down and focus on. And what are we hoping to achieve there? I mean, honestly. We are closer to establishing a lunar colony than we are to even having a majority white nation ever again. I mean, come on. Serious. And doesn't mean give up on that. It doesn't mean I'm not in favor of white identity politics, but we got to start being a little bit more practical here. But people don't want to hear that. That's realistic. That's the truth. And you can listen to a Shabbos Goy beat his chest all day long about white pride and we don't want these brown people living here. It doesn't make a lick of a difference because they're running and they're hiding. The places where we can even live are getting smaller and shittier all the time. And 4 years of King Shabbos Goy, 4 years of best Goy, it's not going to change a thing about that. So get real. Get real. Don't be a sucker. Don't get tricked. Immigration. Give me a break. Stephen Miller's autistically focused on mass deportations. I think he's autistically focused on Israel. I think him and his wife, who goes on Piers Morgan and says, I have Jewish children. I think they're obsessed with Israel, actually. Yeah, I think they're just like the rest of them. I know. Shocking, right? I know. It's such a surprise. I thought he was one of the good ones. These people that, Anyway. We're going to move on. We're going to get into the war, but that's just a word on where the movement is because, like I said, if all of that has brought us here, of what use was the movement? If the movement has brought us to this point, of what use was the movement? As far as immigration is concerned, we have nothing. As far as Israel is concerned, they have everything. So of what use was your movement that people are trying to say, yeah, but we're just, Trump really wants to do it and we just want it to happen. Well, all of that in $1 will no longer be able to buy you a cup of coffee because coffee is now $10 a cup. It's worth nothing.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop the video here. Now, I agree with Nick when it comes to the policies of migration. And I do think that, mass deportations and restricting legal immigration to a degree is a net good for us. However, when it comes to the principle behind that, that's where we disagree. Nick is talking about this white nationalist utopia. Obviously, I disagree with that. But again, as Americans, we're allowed to speak our mind and we're allowed to disagree with one another and have conversation. So I'm totally fine with him expressing his viewpoint. I'm totally fine with him believing what he wants to, and I'm totally fine with him being proud to be white. I don't think that's an issue at all. And as a matter of fact, I would be wary of somebody who came to me who was a white person and said, I'm not proud to be white. I'd be cautious of that person because I think that's a weird thing to say. You know, I'm proud to be black. And although there are a lot of problems in the black community, I don't take that into account when I make a decision about my own identity. So regardless, I enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, think about liking and subscribing. I'm trying to grow this community and build up this channel. So without further ado, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.